Hello everyone, welcome to Austria. Today we'll be landing at Innsbruck with the visual approach for Runway 8, the very infamous and dangerous approach. And we'll be doing this with Aerofly FS2. And this is Orbx that created the scenery for this platform. And the best way to do it, I found, is just to plan for RTT and then make up some waypoints yourself, so it kind of brings you to that valley there. And then set up for Runway 8. This is really an approach for 2.6 that you then break off of, and you fly the pattern down and then circle to land on 8. But with Aerofly FS2, you don't have all the waypoints and things like that. They've included a lot of the key ones, but you don't have full, totally accurate nav data that you would in the other simulators. And you also have to program it, in the Aerofly navigation window. You can't program it in the CDU as you really would. So that's kind of the way I found to do it, because you can't really load the approach in as it is. You have to make it up yourself, and just you gotta add a few of those waypoints in, and then you can do it. But like I said, plan it for Runway 8 and not 2.6. Normally it's like a 2.6 approach, like I said, but do it for 8. The 2.6 one doesn't help you out with the waypoints. But yeah, so this is the first time I've ever done this. I haven't even tried it on X-Plane or Prepared. I never did this one. I always went either directly into 8 or around to 2.6. So we've turned the autopilot off, and I want to hand fly it now. I'm using a side stick to pilot this today. And the graphics are so nice. I've been wanting to check this out. One of the Orbx developers at Cosford had told me about this and how amazing it is in VR. I haven't tried it yet in VR. I'm also looking forward to doing that. But to get the nice, crisp performance of Aerofly with Orbx looking graphics is pretty amazing. Doesn't look like much too. I also kind of realized with this flight, I think the windscreen is maybe a little bit too it could be the sun coming directly at us too, but it seems to wash the colors out quite a bit. You'll see the difference as we go through here. I'm going to be jumping through exterior shots of the plane throughout the video, so you'll see the difference in the colors. But definitely a fun approach to do, and if you bought Orbx Innsbruck for Aerofly, you might want to try this approach. It's a nice, challenging approach, but it's really not too difficult if you follow pretty much everything they tell you to do on the chart. Now we're getting close to the point where we're going to turn to a heading of 230. And then we'll be turning to 265, and you fly the downwind. And that's what I mean. They include the main waypoints you need. Not all of them are there, but pretty much the most important ones for the route are included. I think next in Aerofly we need to take it over to New York, because I also have that, and I haven't spent a lot of time around there. So if anybody has any ideas of what we should do in New York, maybe a helicopter, maybe Cessna 172, whatever. But it's got one of the best looking New Yorks in Flight Sim. And we're coming up on OEJ, OEV, and we're going to turn to 230. And we're making that turn now. And then through the downwind, they want you to stay at around 3,700 feet. I've seen people at 4,000. I think that's a good range, 37 to 4,000. Now you have, there are visual cues, so you know when to turn. You have there's a church. That's when you start to turn for the right base. And of course the visibility is not too bad right now. It's pretty good. I think at this point just what Aerofly needs is more aircraft developers jumping on and getting planes out to it. That and the nav data needs to be a little more sophisticated. But definitely it's just an awesome platform. Anyway, you know, I really enjoy using this simulator. Well, we have flaps 1 out. We're going to be getting flaps 2, and we'll be fully configured before we turn. Putting the gear down now. It's going to create a little more drag. One thing I'd really like to try in this area too is the gliding. I think that would be incredible, and this area is known for gliding. You could probably do a lot of nice ridge soaring and just really taking in the sights. Now the next 2 waypoints you see up there that it draws, we're not going to pay attention to those. Those go away like into the mountains, and you don't want to mess with those. It's just this was the best way to basically draw this approach on the map display, is doing it this way with the 8 approach. But from this point, we're not going to follow those. You're going to look for the church and then make the turn. Now the runway is there and drawn, that, you know, the line going straight into the runway, you can follow that line. I would try to get it as best as you can on that. You know, if that's your only visual cue, if you don't have track IR or the Oculus on or something, as I'm doing here, I'm not using either of those, so you lose a good portion of your peripheral vision on that runway, so you might have to pay some attention to the map. Alright, so we're going full flaps. And we're going to start our turn. This is probably the most fun part of the whole approach, is trying to make this turn. But also just a very beautiful countryside. Alright, not bad. We're a little bit off the center, and we'll fix that. We got plenty of time. It's really a very interesting approach to, you know, it's tucked in a valley, you're coming through, you know, not only do you have large mountains around you, but then you have, like, more elevated terrain that you just come through that's really high, and then you're deeper in another valley. It's like you're going from one valley to a deeper valley, and it's so interesting.
$500. 400. 300. 200. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
And we're down. I can't get the reverse thrust to work, either the button or the axis. It just will not function, so we really had to press the brakes there. But it slows down, no problem, this plane. I don't mean the A320 in general, but just this particular one in Aerofly seems to. We're also pretty light, but yeah, I don't know why the reverse thrust doesn't work. It's there, it does function. I can get it to come on for a second, but it turns off right away anytime I try to engage it. So we're exiting Bravo here, and we're going to park, get the APU started. We're going to have a look at some replays. I put a nice montage together.
$500. 400. 200. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
And back over to Bravo, and now we're, like I said, we're going to go park. But we'll get to take in some of the beauty of this airport first. And that's just like the one on I had for prepared. Same pretty much airport and layout and everything. I was kind of surprised too. There's also the animated vehicles. There's a bus moving around up here, and I didn't really see the people move too much. They might though. But just a great looking area. I'm starting to think that, like I said, the windscreen though is a little too faded, a little too hazy. I don't know. I really only started noticing that with this flight today. And we'll take this spot over here. I don't know which number this is, but that's the one we're going to get. Also forgot to turn the TCAS off, I just noticed. TCAS, and also the lights. I didn't get those either. I think I was just so excited about that landing, because that was a difficult approach. Plus, to get a nice landing out of it was I was excited about that. But you know, we didn't travel too far with these on. But you never want to keep your strobe and your landing lights and all that on after exiting the taxiway. Just bright and unnecessary. But with that being said, thank you everybody for checking out the video. If you got Aerofly and you got Orbx, or even if you don't have Orbx, you might want to try this approach. So until next time, you guys take care.